Okay, so several people have requested that I keep making videos that are sort of, pro tips, what I'm working on kind of things. I work on projects pretty much every weekend, so I could easily make a weekly video. As you can see here, this is the old workbench. There's this sort of magical property where when you work on things, you never have a flat space. They always seem to be populated by crap and projects. But anyways, without further ado, the project for this weekend, if you can kind of see parts of it, we got a sway bar here. That's for the rear suspension of my Datsun. And the rest of the components for it are over here, and they are actually ready for paint. You can see I've done a bit of cleanup on these guys. Get them in the light here. They do have a light coating of rust, but I'm putting Rust-Oleum on them, which should stop that and seal them pretty good. I'm going to brush it on. I know a lot of people spray it, it gives you a little bit of a nicer finish. But this is underneath the car, and personally, I'd prefer a thicker finish rather than a smoother, sort of nicer finish. If you're underneath my car looking at it, there's going to be other problems, So, yeah, without further ado, let's get cracking. So, quick tip before we start dabbing on the good stuff, which in this case is, you can't see it very well. This guy's been pretty used up. This is a gloss black Rust-Oleum, the protective enamel, and it's the oil base, the good stuff, which they're trying to get rid of here in California. So it's getting harder and harder to get. That's why I got a couple of gallons of it sitting down here, stocked up while the getting was good. But anyways, a good thing to do when you take apart like the whole rear suspension of your car. Put the bolts back in the holes where you got them out of. Make it a little easier to figure out where the hell they came from. Although in this case, I'm going to take them out because I'm going to be painting this guy. But I keep all this is all rear suspension hardware. Some of it will be going back on the car, some of it will not. I got a whole kit of new polyurethane bushings, which are all nice and minty. So looking forward to putting those guys on. One of the prerequisites for that was burning out the old bushings, which you can see there's still a little bit of rubber in there, but not enough to where it should cause any problems. I'll post a picture of what that kind of looked like. It's basically a lot of fire, nasty fumes, and an environmental disaster, really. Got the mustache bar here that holds up the rear diff, which got a new diff down here that'll be going in the car. Looking forward to that. This is a torsion limited slip diff off of a Subaru WRXI something. I'm not a Subaru guy. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know why the previous guy painted it gold, but yeah, we're going to paint that black. We're going to get that sucker in the car, and yeah, Bob's your uncle. So the astute among you might notice that this stuff is, set the guy right there where it hopefully won't make a mess. This is why you wear coveralls when you do this kind of stuff, so you can just wipe your hands on yourself. Just make sure you don't sit on any furniture. But anyways, going back to that, it's really thin. Originally, I was spraying this on parts, and I would spray it now, but it's just such a pain in the ass to set up the sprayer, and there really aren't that many parts here. Plus, I want a thicker finish on these. But even though I'm not spraying it, you can get a finish that looks pretty close to sprayed. Two secrets. One, use a fine brush. Well, this is kind of fine. It's a dollar store's finest. I'm not spending a lot on brushes, especially for something that's going to be underneath the car. And the other thing is use thin paint, because it'll sort of self-level once it gets on the part. So I'll switch hands and show you what that looks like. Okay, just a little dippy poo. You want to start off kind of light, This is you don't want to go too crazy with this stuff. You can see it, doesn't look half bad. Coating on pretty good. I know some people, everybody's got their own brand of paint that they swear by. Mine personally is Rust-Oleum. Been using this stuff for years. No, I'm not endorsed by them, but I've just had really good luck with it. It sticks real well, and I like the finish. I used to own an old Datsun 521 pickup, and living on a college budget and shit. I was working at Osh at the time, and I ended up painting the entire truck using Rust-Oleum paint. I painted it an army green color. It looked really good. I mean, if you do paint prep properly, it doesn't. The paint isn't as you don't have to use $300 paint to get a decent looking paint job. It's more about the prep, really. But that paint, I put that on the truck, and so it's not an automotive paint, but I used it for that anyways. It had, bird crap on it. It was in the sun, and that paint, I swear, it was about as hard as automotive paint. It did not. For those of you that know anything about paints, bird crap is really bad for paint because it's acidic, so usually it'll actually eat through paint. That's why if a bird craps on your car, you want to clean that stuff off post haste. But yeah, I got on that car and I actually let it sit on there for months because I was, it was painted with Rust-Oleum and I'm a lazy college kid. So yeah, it didn't eat through the paint. I was amazed. And the other thing that's really hard on paints that are outside is UV, which will fade them real quick. And even that didn't touch it either. I mean, I take it back. It faded a little bit after a year, but considering it was sitting parked outside 24/7 for a year, a little bit of fading, it's not horrible, If I had put a UV resistant clear coat on it, it probably would have lasted a really long time looking just as when I put it on. So anyways, I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. One down. Another part down. Although, I'll be honest, I cannot remember where this thing is off of. It's, I think it's one of the engine mounts or transmission mounts. I can't remember. But that's why you gotta have one of these books. So, every man worth his salt, or woman, should keep a roll of baling wire on hand. This stuff, I mean, it's just metal wire, but you can use it for just about anything. You blown radiator hose, a little bit of baling wire, duct tape, it'll get you home. In this case, cut off just a little bit, bend an S-hook. Look, you got parts hangers for nothing. These are like, I don't know, $2.50 a roll. It might have gone up from now. I don't know. But this stuff is dirt cheap. You should always keep some on hand. Okay. All the other parts are outside drying. So now for the grand finale. This bad boy. Why they painted it gold? It's such a hideous shade of gold. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, let's turn this a less hideous color. Well, not too horrible for a first coat. I'll let her sit a little bit, and then once it gets a little tacky, throw on a second coat, and that should get rid of all this goddamn gold paint. Okay, so with painting done for the day, it's time to remove undercoating on the car, which is an ongoing project. We're going to use get in there, a magical tool known as a needle scaler. Hang on, get some pressure up in here. There we go. Make sure we're drained. If you're running any air system, you got to have a dryer and I think it's called an oil condenser or oil trap. Water trap and an oil trap, basically. Keep them out of your tools. This guy here is a needle scaler. If you've never used a needle scaler before, dude, you're missing out. You just don't know. This thing is incredible. I'll show you in a little bit how it removes undercoating like you wouldn't believe. Put a little bit of oil in her. Yeah, and this damn oil thing leaks like a sieve, so of course it's gonna make a mess on the bench. Okay, where's the end of this air line here? There, hooked up. Yep. Alright, so this guy, it's got a whole bunch of needles that shoot out, and it takes the undercoating right off. Wait till you see this. fuck it. That's enough for today. Okay, my arms are tired. That's enough scraping and needle scaling for today. So, anyways, pretty decent productive weekend. Got this guy painted, got all the other guys painted. I'm gonna let them sit out overnight and then bring them in the morning. And yeah, start bolting them together and get ready to start putting them underneath the car. The underside still needs, I need to get off all that undercoating, and then I got some new stuff that's gonna go on. It's this stuff here. This is oh wait, no, not that stuff there. Where's this stuff? It's in one of these cans. That's primer. So this guy, I think it's this guy. Is it this guy? Nope, that's the paint for the car. Anyways, it's called Rust Free, and it's an undercoating. Really good stuff, actually. I've been really happy with it. But anywho, yeah, I'll put some primer on, the heavy rusty metal primer on, because that stuff sticks to anything real good. That's the Rust-Oleum stuff. And then put on that undercoating, and then bolt back in so all those underside components. I also ended up taking off the all the brake lines and the emergency brake, which is all this fun stuff sitting over here. So just made it a little easier to get the stuff down there. I also didn't realize that the e-brake's got a little bushing here. So I'm gonna have to see if I could source that online, or I might end up rebuilding this one. You never know what you're gonna find. Anywho, that's it for this weekend.